everyone, and welcome to YarnGasm. I'm Kristen, and this is episode 246. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back, and if you are a new viewer, welcome to the podcast. This is a podcast about knitting, spinning, hand-dyeing yarn, sewing, and making all the things in Brooklyn, New York, where I'm from, and I live with my husband Dennis and our adorable cat Bella. And as always, I'm so happy that you're taking some time out of your day to chat about those things with me. And we are coming from my dye dungeon once again here in Brooklyn, New York, where I dye my yarn and do all the admin-y thingamajigs. And yeah, so it's still a work in progress, as you can see. I still have grid wall up. I didn't have a chance to decorate with yarn this week just because it's all in tubs and I'm still in the labeling scanning process, so we are working with a bare background right now. So I apologize for the appearance this week, but next week hopefully I should have a brand new setup to podcast from. I don't know if you can see down here, but I have half a sofa. Funny story, I don't know if I should talk about it now or in blather, but I have half a chaise lounge that I'm waiting for the other half to show up. It's supposed to be coming today, so I should have a full sofa by the end of the day. So anyway, I'll talk more about that later, but yeah, so again, apologies for the bare bones background, but I have some yarn drying over here that has to get skeined and the like. So anyway, welcome to my dye dungeon again. I have lots to share with you this week. I skipped last week because Dennis and I went away on vacation, which again, I'll chat more about later in the episode, but it feels great to be back. I love podcasting. I've missed it, and I'm super excited to get back to a weekly podcast recording schedule. The summer has just been so insane. It's turned into more of a bi-weekly podcasting recording schedule. So yeah, them's the breaks, and but yeah, I hope you guys don't mind because I'm sure your summers are jam-packed with activities. So less to keep up with if you do keep up with the podcast. So anyway, lots to share with you this week. I have some whips, I have some hose, I have some as in works in progress and finished objects, if you are not familiar with the lingo that I speak. But anyway, we have that. I'm gonna pull a question from the Ask Away thread. I have a shop update that I'm gonna chat about, and some events that I'm gonna talk about, and so like stash enhancements. I have quite a stash enhancement segment to share with you this week as well. So anyway, buckle up. It's gonna be not too much of a bumpy ride, but anyway, it's gonna be a show, full packed show for you guys. So what did I want to chat about? Just a quick shout out to Karen Posniak of Do You Knit. Huge thank you and congrats again. She had invited Voolenvine Yarns, my hand-dyed yarn company, back again last weekend on Saturday for another trunk show to help celebrate her 5th year anniversary of Do You Knit being in business. So yay! It was a lot of fun, and I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who came, said hello, bought yarn. I got to meet so many new people and people that I've only known through either Instagram or Ravelry and the interwebs. So it was a lot of fun, and I'll see if I can remember to chat about more about it in the blather segment at the end of the episode. But yeah, I got just a quick shout out to, I believe her name is Vita Lifestyle, Yarn Habits, Alex Creates, who I got to meet for the first time in person, and Lavanya, who I got to meet for the first time in person. And again, I'm blanking on her last name. I'm so sorry, Lavanya, but you are awesome. And Christy Glass was there. She was dressed up as the Dominatrix, full costume. It was amazing. Do check out her podcast because she did like a whole kind of carpool karaoke thing with her, Cece, and Alex Creates and Lavanya in the car, and they drove to Do You Knit. It was hilarious, so check it out. I'll have to link to it in the show notes. But anyway, I'm totally rambling. I should probably pop on the screen where you can follow me on social media. I'm most active on Instagram and Ravelry, where I am Voolenvine on both, and you can get show notes over at www.yarngasmpodcast.com, and the best way to reach me is, if you have a question about the podcast or anything, is contact@voolenvineyarns.com. And if you haven't already, join the YarnGasm Ravelry group. It's so much fun. It's a place to be if you want to join in for knit-alongs, share your whips, your projects, your hoes, your FOs, and just general chatter about the podcast, and you know, ask questions. Anyway, so thanks for tuning in and bearing with my spiel at the beginning of every episode. But anyway, what else did I want to say? Before I forget, Indie Untangled is coming up. That is the trunk show before Rhinebeck, or during Rhinebeck, I want to say, but it's Friday. I believe it's October 19th, Friday, October 19th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. So I will be vending there. Voolenvine Yarns will be vending there. I hope you can make it. More details to come, but I just wanted to give it a quick plug before I get into all my stuff. So okay, that is it for Administrati officially, I promise. So let's get into what's off my needles. Okay, so not to be a bit misleading, but I do have a hoe, a half object to share with you this week. And this is my hand-dyed yarn, Voolenvine Yarns in the Goth Decade colorway. And I apologize, the lighting might be a little off. Hopefully next week it will be better, but yeah. And this is on my Footsie base, which is a BFL, Superwash BFL nylon blend. And it's just a basic standard, plain vanilla, cuff down, 1x1 twisted rib cuff, fish lips kiss heel, and yeah, I knit this on our vacation to Barbados, which again I'll chat about later, but anyway, this is one of the projects that I brought along with me because whenever you go anywhere, you must bring a sock. You never know who you're gonna end up hanging out with, chatting with, and when you just want to knit plain stockinette, so I brought a sock project with me, and I finished one sock, so I'm trying to think what else I want to say about this, because what more can you say about a plain vanilla sock? Yeah, I used a Hi Sharps magic loop, 1.5, US 1.5/2.5 millimeter needles, my go-to sock knitting needle of choice. And yeah, I caked up the yarn with the intention of knitting 2 at a time socks concurrently, or is that the right word? Concurrent socks? I'm forgetting the word. Anyway, but yeah, it didn't really work out that way. I just finished one sock and cast on the next. So here's where I am with the second sock. No second sock syndrome yet. So I've really fought, like my sock knitting mojo has really taken the back seat lately. I don't know, I just haven't felt the urge to knit socks lately. So my box of socks is it's way behind. I want to say it's about like three months behind. And I've cast on socks and have not finished them. So I have a couple of sock whips languishing, unfortunately, but I don't know, these are kind of flying off my needle. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I will have another finished pair of socks in another week, hopefully. I don't know. But yeah, my Box of Socks Cal, which is a year-long knit along. If you have not joined, you still have time. You still have time to join in the knit along, because it's what, September, October, November, December. You have 3 more months. And if you feel like you can knit at least 12 pairs of socks by January 1st, 2018, you can still enter to win prizes. I am clearly not keeping up with my own Cal. But yeah, hop on over to the YarnGasm Ravelry group and check out the thread, because every time I pop in there, your socks blow me away. There are just so many inspirational photos of socks that I'm kicking myself that I'm not keeping up. But anyway, here's where I am with this pair of socks. Very excited to have another pair finished. And yeah, so that is one hoe. And I guess we can move along to what's still on my needles, because I have quite a lot. I feel like the last time I spoke with you, I really didn't have anything to share with you other than my Lopa Flea cardigan by Pinegori, who is Ann Meyer on her real name. I finally remembered her real name. Kudos, bonus points for me, 10 points for Gryffindor. I don't know. But anyway, I'm very loopy today. Rare form again. I've had caffeine, a lot of caffeine this morning. I ran out of my normal coffee, so I had Dunkin' Donuts s'mores flavor, and something about Dunkin' Donuts coffee, I don't know what it is, but they pack so much caffeine into that. It must be like the artificial flavoring, and anyway, it does loopy things to me. So anyway, let me go get my next work in progress. Okay, so living in my Toad Hollow project bag, which I purchased from Do You Knit maybe like two trunk shows ago. But yeah, it's been serving me well for my Damyaka Lopa cardigan. Again, a pattern by the lovely and amazing Pinegori on Ravelry. And here's, I want to say I put a dent in it. Feels like I put a dent in it, but I separated the sleeves, and here is where I am with it. So the body is, it's like if I just sit down and knit on it monogamously, I could have this done very soon. And I am doing co-hosting a knit along with Skein Deer Knits, who has a Skein Deer on Ravelry, and she has a Skein Deer Knits podcast, Ellie, and yeah, we decided on an end date and on a deadline. We started this knit along, or co-hosting the knit along, with the intention of it being very casual, very laid back, but we did decide finally on a deadline for you to enter your Damyaka Lopas, if you are knitting along with us in our respective Ravelry groups, to enter to win giveaway prizes. So the deadline is officially going to be October 31st, Halloween, my favorite holiday. So we figured we want to give you enough time to finish, and those of you who just jumped on the bandwagon, enough time to finish. So yeah, October 31st is the deadline. Hop on, you still have time. I think it's totally possible to knit one of these in that time frame from now until October 31st. So do it. If you want to do it, do it. I highly recommend this pattern. It's while steeking is involved, and I've never tackled steeking before, I'm very confident that I can tackle steeking. I don't know, I'm not sweating bullets over it. So anyway, as you can see, there's like a strip right here of stitches where I'm going to be steeking up the front of the cardigan. So, but yeah, I am really, really enjoying this pattern, especially now that I'm done with the yoke. Not that that wasn't enjoyable, it was just, it took a while for me to finish it. So, but yeah, here's where I am. And I have a little donut progress keeper gift from a lovely, lovely podcast viewer, and I love it. It's just so awesome. Yeah, so that's my Damyaka Lopa, and I'm using Jameson Spindrift, which is 100% Shetland wool, and you guys, I am loving it so much. This is my first time knitting with Jameson Spindrift, and I cannot recommend it more. I want to knit all the things with Jameson Spindrift now, and knit all the color work. So yeah, if that says anything. And I'm knitting with Lika. Is it Lika or Lika? Again, I think one of those is correct, but Lika driftwood needles, which I am in love with. I still love High Sharps. Those are my babies. I love them. I will continue to knit with High Sharps for as long as I enjoy knitting with them. But when it comes to wooden needles, I've fallen in love, and words cannot describe. I could write a love song about Lika needles, and you should totally try them. And this is not from the interchangeable set. This is actually like a fixed circular that I purchased from Amazon. So if you are on the fence about getting the full set, I highly recommend. It's good to know that they do have fixed circulars, or just dedicated needles for specific sizes. So anyway, yeah, that's where I am with this. And yes, let me see what else. I think that's all I wanted to say about this, but I'm loving it. Hoping to have it done by Rhinebeck. I'm kind of hoping to have this as my Rhinebeck sweater. We shall see. I don't know, no guarantees, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed, working on it as much as I can, and we'll go from there. So yay, that is my Damyaka Lopa, and enjoying it immensely. Okay, what up next? Yes, vacation knitting, I guess. Let me see, do I want to chat about that? Yes, vacation knitting. So living in my fringe supply bag. Yeah, I love this bag so much. And I especially love it because you can, this is what people are doing now. They're just putting swag buttons all over their fringe supply bags. This was a treat to myself. It was a little bit of an investment, but I freaking love this bag. It is so useful. I took this with me on vacation. I took it with me to the beach. I took it with me on the plane, and highly recommend it for travel. It's awesome, and it's just fun because you can express your personality in so many ways on the front. So anyway, and I want to say I did knit on the beach, as I mentioned, and when this first arrived, this leather handle was very stiff. It wasn't very pliable, but I feel like the humidity in Barbados softened it so much. I just noticed immediately that it just like became so soft and pliable, and it's wonderful. So anyway, love this bag. Can I say that enough? Yeah, but I decided I didn't really know what to bring with me on vacation because we were going to a hot muggy climate, obviously. So a Damiaka Lopa on the beach was really not gonna happen. And then the Marled Magic Shawl, which I'll talk about next, I had just cast that on, but because so much yarn is involved, I figured I didn't really want to bring that much yarn with me because I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants with it, which I'll talk about later. But anyway, lots of yarn involved in that one. So I of course just decided, you know, there's a pattern that I really wanted to cast on for a while, and I had the yarn caked up, and I just kind of went with my gut and cast on an Amulet Shawl by the lovely and amazing and wonderful Helen Stewart, who I'm so happy and lucky to call my friend. So anyway, I finally cast on an Amulet Shawl, and I got a lot of progress done on it on vacation. And here, it doesn't look like much right now, but I feel like once I block it out, it's gonna be huge. So I cast on using my hand-dyed yarn in Mooncusser. These are both on my Blitzed base, my Sparkle Gold Stellina Superwash Merino Nylon base. And this colorway for color A is Mooncusser, and then this is a newish colorway called Plume. It's kind of it's a very tonal, how to say, like cranberry hot pink color, very autumnal. I love it. I'm gonna be dyeing up some more of it soon. But yeah, I'm on the third section of this pattern, and yeah, so there's a garter stitch. It starts out with garter stitch, then there's an eyelet section, and now there's kind of like a garter rib section. And I really love the way these are playing together, and it turned out to be the perfect vacation knit, especially because, as I mentioned, I was knitting on the beach. There was just, again, like, it was very sticky, especially because I'm sure if I had metal needles it wouldn't have been a problem, but because I was flying and I didn't want to bring my Leica needles with me, because heaven forbid they take those away from me, I would have cried. I would have cried if they took away my Leica needles. Okay, I have to look this up. Is it Leica or Leica? Me and pronunciation, you know me. One day I'll get it. One day I will get it. So anyway, but because it was on the beach, it was kind of humid out, and I had sunblock on my hands. Knitting on it was a bit of a challenge. So thankfully I did not bring my Lopa cardigan with me, but yeah, I'm using Clover US size 6 4.0 millimeter needles. So these turned out to be pretty good. I mean, for the given climate that was there. But anyway, it was a joy to knit on. I knit on the plane, I knit at the hotel, I knit on the beach, I knit on the plane back, and just really enjoy working on this. So yeah, highly recommend the Amulet Shawl. What else did I want to say about this? I feel like I've just been rambling this entire episode because I'm so out of practice and there's so much information to get out. It was funny because on the plane ride back, Dennis was sitting in the middle. It was one of those planes where, you know, there's just like 2 rows of seats of 3 and then 1 center aisle, and Dennis had the middle seat. I was sitting on the aisle, and then there was like an older lady sitting by the window, and Dennis was trying to study, and I was like just knitting away, and she just kept looking over and like kept tapping Dennis. She's like, is she knitting? And Dennis was like, yeah, she's knitting. And then she just kept like leaning over to see what I was doing and occasionally commenting like, that's beautiful, you're good. And I'm like, would you like me to teach you? And anyway, so that was my knitting travel story. Yeah, and I think that's all I need to say about this project for now, other than it's knitting up, it's practically flying off the needles. And yeah, so anyway, I feel like, again, like I had nothing to show you last week, but for some reason, within the past 2 weeks, I've managed to cast on all the projects. So yeah, that is all I have to say about that for now. Very happy with the way it's turning out. Whew. And last but not least, I think that's the last project that I have to share with you this week, is the Marled Magic Shawl by Stephen West. So let me go get that. And this is part of a knit along that I'm co-hosting with Lara of the Dyer's Notebook and Jinx Yarns. It's our second annual knit along that we do. We just kind of decided to do it yearly because we had so much fun doing it the last year. Last year, it also happened to be a Stephen West project. We just ended up deciding that we both liked the project. So this year, again, it's Stephen West. But last year was the Exploration Station. So this year it's the Merle Magic. And I have to admit, I'm still catching up, and I've really enjoyed seeing all of your projects in the Merle Magic knit along thread, the chatter thread, that I opened before I left for vacation. Did I open it before I left for vacation? I don't know, but I know I was late to the game on opening that. No, I think I did. I opened it before I left for vacation, so I was on the ball with that. But I definitely have a lot of catching up to do because some of you were just way ahead of me. But I did manage to put a dent in it, and here is where I am. So I'm on section 2, which is still clue 1. So the first section was this kind of eyelet section, eyelet square on the bias. And for that, you're gonna get so tired of me chatting about what yarns I used for this because there's a lot of yarn involved and there's mohair, and I apologize because my nose is gonna itch from now until the end of the episode. But I used Iku for the mohair in this section. Eco, what is it? I have a project page for this. All the yarns that I used are in there, but it's a silk and mohair blend. It's beautiful. I got it from a great yarn in Chatham, Massachusetts, in Cape Cod. So I was really happy to finally use that. But then I'm also using like a combination of my hand-dyed yarn, Voolenvine yarns in Dirty on Purpose, Hedgehog fibers in Film Noir, and Madeline Tosh Merino Light in Graphite. So I just feel, I'm glad I'm gonna have some Film Noir left over from Hedgehog fibers because I did break into that skein and you really can't tell that it's that colorway. It just looks like white mixed in with the marl. But anyway, hopefully I can use it again throughout the project. But yeah, it kind of reminds me of chocolate raspberry dessert. I don't know, just the color combinations together. But yeah, it's just really pretty. And then I'm on the seed stitch now, the second section. And here I'm using a combination of, again, my hand-dyed yarn in Black Pearl and the Blitz. And then I use Molly Girl yarns in No Sleep Till Brooklyn that I got from Woolen, from when she did her trunk show there. And then I switched over to Jinx Yarns in Howl's Castle over here. And then I switched over to Adelaide Cottage in her In the Garden colorway, which is creating this really lovely, I have to admit, it's creating a really lovely mauve palette, which was my goal because mauve queen. But I have to be totally honest, I really wasn't feeling this pattern as I cast on, but now that I think the eyelet section was kind of getting to me, I wasn't really totally enamored with it, but now that I'm on this kind of like marled fade seed stitch section, it's growing on me. I'm really falling in love with this pattern, and yeah, I'm enjoying the process finally. And yeah, I'm using Lika driftwood needles again, in US size 8, 5.00 millimeter, and again, loving it. Anyway, really enjoying this project, really enjoying keeping up with all of your progress, whoever's joining in with us, and yeah, join in, there's still time. I think the knit along is going all the way through, we kicked off, when was it? September 1st, October, so it's ending November 31st, I believe. I'm going to correct myself in the down bar if I'm wrong, but use hashtag Jinx Voolenvine Cal 2017 if you would like to share your progress on Instagram, and yeah, join in the fun. And there's a car alarm. But I guess while we're talking, well, I mentioned vacation, I should probably talk about what knits I brought with me. And you're saying, Kristen, you went to the Caribbean. Why would you bring knits with you? And Dennis asked me the same question because, you know, I was packing, and of course I packed a hoodie and I packed a shawl because number one, I run cold, and number two, the plane. It's always freaking Arctic on the plane. So of course I had to bring a shawl with me. And I'm so glad I did. I brought the eyeball shawl, another pattern by Stephen West. But yeah, this came along with me and I'm so happy I brought it with because you guys, it was so cold on that plane, and this was like a blanket. It really was, and because it is like so long, I was literally just draped in this thing and huddled underneath it the entire time. Yeah, anyway, again, highly recommend this pattern. It was so fun to knit and it kept me warm. I didn't wear it for the rest of the vacation except on the plane. So knitting to the rescue, my friends. People were looking at me like I was crazy because I was draped in a giant eyeball, but hey, at least I was warm, right? So anyway, yeah, I just wanted to mention that because, yeah, it was funny. So there's that, and now I'm gonna move along to stash enhancement because I was naughty. I bought a lot of yarn, and yeah, so let me go get the haul. So as I mentioned last week, I really want to cast on, as if I don't have enough projects on the go at the moment. Ellie of Skein Knits just released her Selbu Mitten Club, which I believe she's releasing. I don't know how many mittens she's actually including in there. It might be 3 or 4, maybe 6, I don't know. But I will correct myself in the down bar, but I wanted to join in on the fun, so I decided I really wanted to try out Blacker yarn since I missed the boat at EYF last year. So I treated myself to Blacker yarns, and the yarn came. It was waiting for me when I got back from vacation. So I got some of their Blacker Swan Falkland Islands wool from Swan Inlet Farm, which is a DK base. So I got, it's so yummy and soft, and I really want to cast on so badly. But this is the dolphin colorway, of course. What is this? Tea berry, which this combination together, yes, 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 1,000 times yes. Ugh, these are gonna be mittens. And then this seems like a really fun combination. It might be a gift for somebody, but I really like the way these look together. And this one is Balsam Bog, and then this icy blue one is Seafoam. So I think this will be a really nice colorway combination. I don't know, maybe some mittens for my mom. I think she would like that. So yeah, really excited to work with Blacker yarns for the first time because I've heard such really good things. And yeah, very excited about that. So yeah, and of course, I ended up doing a swap with Laura. Occasionally we do swaps because we're friends, and like she'll dye a colorway that I really like and I'll dye a colorway that she really likes, and we'll just say, hey, let's do a swap. So I could not resist taking her up on some vampire yarn. This is one of her newer colorways, and when you name something vampire, I'm on it like wildfire. So yeah, I had to get a skein of this, and this is on her single merino base. So anyway, thank you so much, Laura. This is really fun to get in the mail, and I cannot wait to work with it. And it's going in the dedicated Jinx Yarns cubby stash hole. So yeah, for those of you not familiar, I have dedicated cubby holes to favorite dyers, and Laura is of course one of them. So anyway, there's that. And then I also have a haul, of course, from Do You Knit, because if you go to Do You Knit, you can't come away. And she's, as I mentioned, Karen she's like the queen of indie dyer. She's like the queen of collecting indie dyers in her yarn shop. So anyway, she's got a really great selection. And I got to finally get my hands on her yarn. I went last time, but I'm kicking myself for not, I saw Yarn Pimp Yarns last time, but kicking myself for not picking up a skein last time. But Kelly has a new colorway that she dyed specifically for Do You Knit called Nightmare on Elmer Street. And I saw it on the Yarn Pin podcast. I was like, I'm coming home with one of those because, yeah, it's Halloween-y. And if you're not familiar, Do You Knit is on Elmer Street in New Jersey. So the name I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. So yeah, Nightmare on Elmer Street. And it's on her singles base. Got some Kristen hair in there. Yeah, just like a really fun Halloween colorway. I love it, I love it, I love it. So there's that. And then Machete Shop, which she also had recently a trunk show at Do You Knit. And yeah, you guys, come on. How beautiful is this? This is Aqua Aura in her single twist. Again, more singles yarn. But this just made my heart sing so hard. So I had to come away with it. So yay, there's that. And then I've been wanting to try some chubby for the longest time. So I got some chubby in, are you ready for this? I totally forgot that Hedgehog Fibers had a colorway called Oracle. And this is Oracle in their chubby base. So yeah, it is awesome. I'm super excited to work with it. And this is gonna be a new winter hat for me because if you are not familiar, I knit a hat out of Hedgehog Fibers Aran last year. Karen had designed just a very simple basic hat pattern that you hold together. You hold the Aran weight together with mohair and it creates like this really cool effect. And then you add a pom-pom on top. So I knit one of those. And then my mom stole it. Yeah, my mom stole my Aran weight pom-pom hat. So when that happens, I've got to knit another one. So, well, she didn't exactly steal it. I gifted it to her. She liked it, so I gifted it to her. So anyway, but I got a pom-pom to go with it. So it's gonna be awesome. I'm excited to have a new winter hat and excited to work with Chubby. It's just so fun. If you can't see that, it's just, before it's dyed, there's actually some black yarn plied into the white yarn. So, and when you dye over it, you just have like a really cool effect. So there's that. And the other final skein of yarn that I got was Voolenvine, which I was very excited to get my hands on. And it's a very simple colorway, speckled, you know, like it's a cream with some, I don't know, it's a really complex kind of like berry brown speckle. It's some orange in there, and this is Truffle Shuffle, and I love it. It's like a good neutral speckle. So yeah, really excited to finally get my hands on some of these hand dyers, and I'm resisting the urge to cast on right away because, yeah. I was also thinking with the pom-pom, doing like a sock head hat, or Andrea Mowry has a Morald brioche hat pattern that I don't know, just like holding these two together. I don't know. Decisions. Anyway, that's my yarn haul. So as you can see, I was a bit naughty. I don't think I'll be very naughty until Rhinebeck. I'll hold out to do another splurge like that. If you watch the podcast, you know that I don't go crazy very often, but when I do, kind of do. So yes, that is it for stash enhancements. I don't have any sewing to share with you this week, unfortunately. My sewing, not that my sewing mojo has been plummeting or anything like that. I just really haven't had the time to sit down with my sewing machine, but I really want to get back to it. I hopefully will have more time to sew next week. Fingers crossed, I don't know. But in the meantime, I pulled a question out from the Ask Away thread, so let me go get my show notes. So this is a question from the Ask Away thread on Ravelry, in the YarnGasm Ravelry group. It's a thread where you can ask me pretty much anything you'd like regarding the podcast, knitting, spinning, dyeing yarn, within reason, about my life, you know, what have you. But this is from Not Kidding Around, as in K-N-O-T. Not. So she says, "Hi Kristen, I'm a new viewer and was watching an older episode and you were knitting a shawl with nups. You expressed how you love knitting noops." I believe it's noops. You expressed how you love knitting noops, which instantly made me look at you with awe because I absolutely hate noops. I love how they look, don't love knitting them. I've tried a crochet hook, but I risked dropping other stitches while tending these needy little things. I've tried passing loops over one or two at a time. I've gone ahead and tended to getting them slipped through on the same row so I can enjoy the speed of the purling row. Sometimes they want to live on the back side of my work. Blah. I hate noops. Can you help me love them? Okay, yeah, noops are a little tedious, I won't lie. But again, I always say that it all comes down to tools. So noops can be a little fiddly. That's how they roll, that's how they work. But I always recommend when it comes to knitting those noop stitches, you want, number one, a pointy needle. Number two, preferably depending on the yarn, a metal needle. So the pointier the needle, the better it's going to be at getting in at all those stitches. And the other tip that I have is to loosen your gauge. Just relax your hands. It might feel really uncomfortable, but the looser your gauges while working those noop stitches, trust me, it will pay off. So Again, it's still a little bit of work, but if you really love the effect, you will find that having a pointier needle, a metal needle, and loosening your gauge will definitely help the process. So give it a try. I hope that helps. So let me know how you progress with that, but those are my tips. So yes, and again, if you have any questions that you would like me to answer on the podcast, or if I answer directly in the thread, just pop a question in the Ask Away thread in the YarnGasm Ravelry thread. So yay, there's that. And the other thing that I want to mention, we still have the Oracle Shawl Knit Along, which I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning of the episode, which sometimes I forget. But yes, the Oracle Shawl Knit Along is still going on. It is ending October, I want to say, no, I'm sorry. When did it kick off? Yes, it's ending September, it's ending October 1st. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. So yes, you still have time to join in. And again, I'm just having so much fun seeing all of your wonderful oracles popping up all over the internet and Instagram and Ravelry. It's just, you guys, oh my gosh, yeah. Thank you so much for all the wonderful feedback that you've been giving me about the pattern. I'm super happy that you're enjoying the pattern, and thank you to everybody who's purchased the pattern. Otherwise, yay, all the oracles, they're amazing. So yeah, okay. Now that that's out of the way, let's chat about shop update, shall we? Because I'm having a shop update tomorrow, September 15th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you so much for all of your patience. I know I skipped an update last week because I was doing trunk show prep, and I skipped another update because of vacation. So it's been a hectic summer. But anyway, I'm back with another update tomorrow, and I hope you can make it over at www.voolenvineyarns.com. And let me go get some yarn to share with you that will be in the update. So just quickly, I also want to mention thank you so much to everybody who stopped by my post-trunk show impromptu shop update. Believe it or not, I did come back with some yarn, so I was able to pop some leftovers into the shop on Tuesday. So thank you so much to everybody who stopped by. But yes, this coming tomorrow, I will have more yarn for you. So yes, popular demand, Oracle kits will be back in stock. I'm dyeing some more yarn today and tomorrow, so this is one that I have together. So it has some Pandora, it has some Stardust, and some Last Unicorn. And I have been getting requests for the original colorway that I knit my Oracle shawl out of, which was knit out of Grimm, Coven, and Paranormal. So that will be in stock as well. I'm going to be dyeing up some more Coven today, but this is what I have to share with you. Oh, this is what I have dyed so far this week. So of course I will have some more Last Unicorn. I will have some more Pandora, but I'm actually going to be retiring Pandora, I believe, just for the time being, because it's more of like a summer colorway, I want to say. I don't know, I haven't decided yet, but I feel like it's time to just kind of put it on the, not retire it, but put it into hibernation until the next season. And as well, the same goes for Last Unicorn. So these two will be going into hibernation until the next season, unless I get high demand for it. But back into rotation, we have Jilted Rose. So I apologize for the lighting down here. I don't know if you can see this, but if the lighting is really bad, I will try and pop a still photo of Jilted Rose. But it's a very like Victorian, vintage, antique-y kind of rose color. And here it is on my Nouveau base, and here it is on my Blitz base. I will also have all these colorways dyed on my Footsie base and Volca base. So there's that. I will have some more Dirty on Purpose. You can see that. Here it is on Blitzed and also on Nouveau, my singles base. Is that. I will have some more Moon Cusser. Here we go. It's my Halloween, this was my Halloween colorway from last year. But I have a new Halloween colorway that I just came out with called, I named it Spiderella, but after chatting with Alex Creates at the trunk show, he said, why didn't you call it Spinderella? And I really like that. So I'm gonna take him up on that suggestion and rename Spiderella Spinderella, because how cool is that? Yeah, so here is Spinderella. It's very like Halloween-y speckled. It has some purples, neon oranges, some blacks in there, and it's just so Halloween-y. So there's that, and then I will also have some Grimm. Here it is. Yeah, the lighting in my studio today is just not happening. So hopefully next week it will be better. I apologize, but some Grimm. It looks very gray here, but it's like a shaded dark gray black, if you are wondering. And here it is on Blitzed, in case you are wondering. So yeah, very versatile. You can definitely mix, it goes with everything. So if you want to mix and match, you know. And then I also dyed some Paranormal. So here we go. This is also a very spooky Halloween type of colorway, so I love it. It's one of my favorites. And yeah, so that is what I have dyed so far. And again, I'm going to be dyeing some more Coven today. I'm hoping to dye some more Plume, which is the one that was also in my amulet shawl. And I'm gonna try and dye some Free Swims. I'm gonna have a little fun this week. So yeah. Oh, and the Twin Steaks Yarn Club. That I'm hoping to get out next week, if not the following week. But yes, those will be coming, and those will be getting in the mail very soon. I apologize for the delay, but they will be going out this month. So if you did subscribe to the Twin Steaks Yarn Club, stay tuned. And yeah, once that Yarn Club's over, I will hopefully be announcing another Yarn Club soon after that. So yeah, that will be the last and final installment. And I got really good feedback from the last colorway. That was the owls are not what they seem colorway. So yay, so glad you guys are liking that. So yeah, that is shop update. And again, Indie Untangled is happening October 19th, Friday, from 8 p.m. From 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. So I hope you can stop by. It's in Kingston, New York, not too far from the Dutchess County Fairgrounds where Rhinebeck is happening. So please come by, say hello, and I look forward to seeing you. Yay! Okay, so that is it for this week. I'm gonna move along to Blather, where I chat about what's been going on in my life, should you care to stick around. Okay, so as far as Blather is concerned, as I mentioned, Dennis and I went away for Labor Day weekend. We went to Barbados, one of our favorite vacation spots. We found a really good deal online that we could not refuse, so we just jumped on it. And yeah, so as I mentioned, we just went away for, like, was it 3 nights? I think 3 nights total. And the reason why the flight was so cheap was because it was kind of like a red-eye flight. Our plane took off at 10:40, and then we landed. Our plane just took forever to take off. So we landed at around 4 o'clock, did not get to the hotel until, I'm gonna say 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. So we basically imposed jet lag on ourselves. So it's kind of crazy. I told Dennis I will never do that again, because why give yourself self-imposed jet lag when you don't have to? But anyway, it was really interesting. I don't even think we could call it a hotel. It was more like, we stayed at the Moonraker Apartments. If you're not familiar, obviously, like, if you've never been to Barbados, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's called the Moonraker Apartments, and yeah, immediately you think of James Bond. But it was I have to say, it was a very cute like place to stay on the island. Very rustic. It was very clean, but very rustic. It's kind of one of those places where you have to bring your own provisions, if you will. So, but we showed up at night. The people who run the hotel don't stay there all night. They kind of like left the keys in the door, or the door wide open, and we really didn't, like, they had a sign saying for people that were coming late which rooms they were staying in, but it had rained, so the sign kind of melted. So we're like, okay, we think, like, we had no idea which room we were staying in. They were all, for that late, at that time of morning, all those rooms were empty, and we're just like, all right, let's pick the one with the best view. So we stayed, we picked one room, and the next morning, I think I got maybe like 3-4 hours of sleep, but once the sun was up, I was up. I was on the balcony knitting happily. The owner showed up in the morning. He's like, which one are you? And I'm like, Lair. And he's like, you're supposed to be in the one down there. And I'm just like, we had no idea. And he's like, it's all right. You can keep that room. It just wasn't set up for you. And we're like, okay. So anyway, he showed up and he's like, Dennis was still sleeping. He goes, he's like, do you guys need a lift to the grocery store? Because I can give you a ride. I'm gonna head over there right now. And I was like, let me go get my husband. So I go in, Dennis wakes up, unwillingly, but he wakes up because he didn't want me going alone. So and plus this was like the only time that the hotel owner was gonna go to the grocery store. So we hopped in the van, went to the grocery store, stocked up on food and snacks and whatnot. So that was a lot of fun. So we did that. We got to see town and go into a local grocery store, which I really, really love doing. I don't know about you guys, but anytime I travel anywhere, I love checking out the local grocery store to see how people do things differently. But it was a grocery store. They had everything. They had, surprisingly, like, things I didn't think that they would have. They had, you know, like chia seeds and who knows. But anyway, it was a really awesome grocery store. There you go. So that was fun. And we definitely, the nice thing about our hotel was they had some nice little trails. We could just, you know, beach hop and go, you know, walk along the coastline. And then we actually stopped off, like we did it, it was really, really hot. And we did this long little hike to, I think like we passed by 5 beaches. And then we were just kind of like, you know, it'd be really nice to have a drink right now. So we passed by a hotel and we're like, hey, do you know of any like local places we can go just to get a drink or whatever? And you know, the guy pointed us in the right direction and we found this very, very local pub. So it's like all outdoors, but you could tell like a lot of locals go there and hang out and chat. They play games, like card games. So that was really fun. We got to just chill there and, you know, take in the scenery. We took the local bus. They call it a dollar bus over there. We had to walk to a market, like kind of like their version of a bodega, and catch the local bus. I believe it was $2 Barbados dollars, which amounts to $1 US dollar. So super cheap. And yeah, it was really cool. We got to see this trip around. We got to, instead of being like tethered to a resort or, you know, a hotel, we got to experience the people's Barbados, which I am all about. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, we had great weather. Water was beautiful. It was warm, like a bathtub. Like I love that. I mean, again, as I mentioned, we go to Cape Cod a lot during the summer, but the water is always too cold for me to go in. And this was just wonderful. I mean, I want to say the water was like 80 degrees, and for me that's refreshing. Like it can be super hot out, but like just being able to walk into the water, not having to adjust and just relaxing, it was wonderful. So yeah, there was that. And what else did I want to say? Oh, yeah, and as I also wanted to mention, thank you to everybody who was wondering whether or not we were affected by Hurricane Irma. Thankfully, Barbados, the hurricane bypassed the island. They thankfully do not get hit by many hurricanes, but they did get some, they did feel some of the after effects from it. And we had really great weather up until the last day. By then it wasn't terrible weather. It was just a little windy. We had some pretty heavy downpours for the rest of the day. But our plane took off without a hitch. We had a really smooth, safe flight. And before we took off, the pilot, he's like, and as you can see from your left, you can get a really nice view of the Hurricane Hunter plane parked on the tarmac. So if you're not familiar with the Hurricane Hunter planes, they actually fly into the storm to report back any feedback and what have you. So that was kind of scary, but yeah, thankfully we had a really great flight. So thank you so much to everybody who, you know, just reached out wanting to know if we were okay. Dennis actually did go surfing because the Hurricane Irma did serve up some nice waves on the beach that we went to. It was his first time surfing, so he didn't really get to stand up on it too much on the board, so he still needs a little practice and probably a proper lesson, but he did catch some really good waves, and we did get to see some of the pros there doing some really cool surfing stunts. So I did do a little Instagram story on that. So yay, awesome vacation. And then we got back Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening. So it was great to be back home and just get back into the swing of things. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, so I dove right into trunk show prep. had the trunk show on Saturday, and then we got to meet up with family. Dennis's parents actually came. My in-laws came to the trunk show, so it was really great to see them. Thank you guys for coming out. And yeah, so it was a lot of fun, I have to say. And then we met up with Dennis's brother and our niece and nephew and his wife for dinner, for like I would say like an early dinner. Then we hit up the mall. So yeah, this week it's just all been about catching up, getting into the groove of things again, and yeah, so anyway, a lot's been going on, can you tell? So I'm trying to think what else has been going on. Yeah, I'm looking at my show notes. So as far as that's concerned, that's what's been happening in my life. I've been listening to the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. If you're not familiar, that is the book that the same author of the book series that I'm totally and still obsessed with. Not Game of Thrones, I'm sorry. A Court of Thorns and Roses. And there's, yeah, it's a 3-book series which I'm in love with. I want to read it again so badly that I bought the box set, the physical tangible book box set. That says a lot. I don't buy physical books very often. Because I don't have time. I don't have all the time in the world to sit down and read. And normally I love sitting on the beach and reading sometimes if I do go, but normally Dennis and I are chatting with each other, so you know, what I'd rather be knitting. So, but yeah, I definitely want to sit down and reread the book, the physical book, or just have it in my library because it's awesome. So anyway, and you know, a lot of you have been reaching out to me saying like how much you really enjoy the series as well. So yeah, definitely check it out. Again, not by any means for young children. It is definitely a very new adult slash, has like some adult themes in there that, you know, you might want to peruse first before letting your teenager or, you know, young adult giving it a look-see. Same goes for Throne of Glass. I'm currently on the last book in the series. I thought that there were 6, but no, there are 5, with a couple of novellas and add-ons added to that. So anyway, but really enjoying it, not as much as ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses, but enjoying it nonetheless. And I've just been listening to that. I've been listening and listening to it as I work, as I die, and it's been keeping me company. Wow, that was a long-winded episode. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in with me again, and for your patience and waiting for me to come back from vacation and whatnot. And again, I will be resuming a normal weekly podcasting schedule very, very soon, if not next week. So anyway, thank you for watching. Happy knitting, and I will see you next time. Bye.